Hey guys, Beebs here, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to show you how to use your HX Stomp or a MIDI controller to help you transcribe licks from YouTube or whatever else audio source you've got on your computer. The original idea for this video was to break down a lick that I did from probably getting on a year ago. I had a story notification memory pop up and it reminded me that I never actually did a lesson on it on YouTube. So I went to do it and then realized I couldn't remember what I did and I'd only transcribed a little bit of it. So I had to figure it out again. And to do that, what I always do is hook up my HX Stomp and use it as a foot controller to stop, start, slow down, speed up, add markers, and really help and aid in the transcribing process. So what I'm going to do is just briefly, very quickly show you how it works with YouTube, and maybe I'll look at Anytune. And what I'll also do is create a bunch of presets that you can download, and I'll link in the description below. So you can just then load these up on your HX Stomp and use them to control YouTube playback or Anytune. The core principle here is kind of the same though. You're just sending MIDI control commands from the device into the software. And so you can basically use your feet in order to keep your hands on the guitar and speed up the process. And it really is kind of useful. It helps a lot. And it helped me getting this lick back under my fingers and into my memory again. The reason that I love the HX Stomp for this is that with the really cool command center, you can send pretty much any keystroke or hotkey or command or whatever into your operating system. So you can use it to control almost anything really. You could even start and stop your DAW with it and stuff like that. It's an incredibly flexible piece of kit. I'm sure you could probably hack something together with the Quad Cortex or the FM3 or something using MIDI control commands, but I don't think it would be as straightforward and as simple as you'll see when I take you through the process of setting it up in HX Edit. As we're focusing on the HX Stomp today, I'm using the Stomp for the sounds, and I'm using a variation on my Change My Leads or Change My Mind presets that's now become my de facto go-to. So this is BB Kinky Law 24 preset, and that'll also be available in the description if you want to download that. Okay, so I'll show it to you in action and what the end result will be with YouTube to start with. So if I go to YouTube, and I've got an old video here where I was breaking down some licks and wanted to transcribe it. And then from the HX Stomp, you can see on the screen here, I've got play, pause, slow down, speed up assigned to these buttons. I also have an external foot switch here with another two switches that can help me seek forward or back by 10 seconds. You can set whatever you want to these switches. That's what's so cool about it. In YouTube itself, if you want to find the key commands, if you press Shift and question mark, it pops up all the keyboard shortcuts that you can then just plug into the command center in HX Edit, which we're going to do when we build the preset shortly. But like I say, I'll just show it working. So from my foot switch here, you can see my cool cat socks are going to start the video. Pause the video. I can slow it down. Slow down some more. Back up. If you really want to give your transcribing skills a challenge and speed things up. And then I can also seek back and forward with these two ones here. So I can go back 10 seconds or forward 10 seconds. So like I say, you'll be able to download and get hold of these presets I've already made for all these apps in the description below. But if you want to just follow along and make the presets yourself, I'm going to break them down now in HX Edit and Command Center to show you how to get an idea and understanding so you're learning what's actually going on in the unit. So I'm going to start a new preset in HX Edit. So I'm going to go to this one here, 122. And you can see from the front panel of the Stomp, there's nothing assigned to any of the switches. From the perspective of the command center, we're working on a blank slate. However, I do have the blocks in a chain here just for the basic sound. I've already preset that up. So I do have some sound to work with. But yeah, we're going to set up the command center side of it from scratch. So then we're going to go to Window and load Command Center. And you can see if you've not used Command Center before, this is kind of how it works. You've got the switches here. These are the three switches on the Stomp. These are the two external switches I've got here that correspond to this little bright onion thing I've got here. Got your expression pedals, and we're going to ignore these lightning bolts here for now. But what we're going to do is set up and customize what the Stomp is actually doing. Now, I should have just said actually, in order to get to this from the Stomp, where you've got the page here, where you can sort of set the different modes for the Stomp switches. So we've got like presets up and down. We've got, I think they're presets up and down. We've got scene up and down. And then we want this mode here. So you want to page across until you get to this mode, and it should be blank, or it should be, you know, have the foot switches and whatever you've got currently assigned to them in a preset. We need that mode for this to work. So in Command Center, we're going to select the first switch, and then from the command, if we click the drop down here, you can see we have all these options of what we can tell this switch to do. So we can send MIDI CCs, CC toggles, bank programs, no on. We can set specific looper modes, set specific HX presets or snapshots. The one that we're interested in here is setting it to hotkey. This is going to allow us to then basically just send a keyboard shortcut command into whatever piece of software is currently in focus, potentially even in the background as well. I'm not sure, we'll test that in a moment. But when we've done that, we then need to know what to set this to. So I want this to, ignore why it says trans TP, that's from another preset. So I want this first foot switch here to play or pause YouTube or whatever software I'm using. So I'm going to go across back to YouTube and load the keyboard shortcuts and then toggle play pause. You can see it's K. So all I need to do is go into Command Center and then ignore the modifiers for now. We're then going to go to keystroke, click the drop down and then find K. And then underneath this, I could set a color if I wanted to. So I'm going to make that green starting. And I'm going to customize the label on the stomp to play stroke pause. You can see that's updated on the stomp there. Just going to do a save of this now, just to be sure. And then if I go back to YouTube, it should start the video. Press it again to stop. Now the way that I like to set this up for working with YouTube videos is to have play pause on the first switch, have slow down in the middle and speed up on the right. And then on the external foot switches, like I say, have seek forward and backwards. So I'm going to go and select the second stomp now. Again, come down to hotkey. And now we need to know what it is to slow down or decrease the playback rate. So we go back to YouTube, shift question mark. And then decrease playback rate is shift and comma. So we're going to set that up in Command Center. So we've got this second switch selected, hotkey selected. This is where we now need the modifier. So from the modifier 1, I'm going to select shift from the drop down. And then in the keystroke, I'm going to find the comma. I'll label this as slow down. And I'll set this color to light orange. Dark orange. Save that. Go back to YouTube. And now you should see it's changing down. That's 50%. So it's slowing it down. God, YouTube slow down algorithm's not great, is it? I think there might be a bug here or something with this preset. It's still got that trans TP on. So sort that out. Not sure why it's doing that, but it didn't save the customized text. That's why. So I think once you've done anything in the Command Center, you have to hit Enter in order for it to sort of like instantiate and really kind of take hold. I don't know if my Command S saving is actually doing anything here. It's just force of habit. But yeah, you do need to, once you've edited something in the sort of inspector window part of the Command Center, you need to press Enter for it to take hold. So yeah, we've got play pause, we've got slow down, and then I'm going to have speed up. So we want to find speed up again. What was that one? I think that's L, is it? Okay, no, shift and period, shift and full stop if you're from the UK. So select the third foot switch and then go to, again, hotkey. We want modifier 1, shift, come down, and then find the full stop. Period. And then speed up as the customized text. And I'm going to set that to a nice turquoise, I think. Yeah. Okay, so now I should be able to control my playback and my speed from the stomp. So play, speed up. Let's take this back to 100%. Okay, and then finally we'll just get these two extra switches here. Now, in order to get this working, you need to have a TRS cable going into your foot switch. So this is a foot switch, I think I got this from, I think, Brighton Effects in the UK. They make a cool little aesthetically pleasing matched brushed powdered kind of color and the X on it, which is kind of cool. And these are sort of like soft kind of non-latching switches. And then the way that we set this up on the Stomp is double press to go to menu, scroll across to global settings, and then I have this set to, let's see, I always forget this. Yeah, so scroll across to the foot switch preferences. I've got Stomp 3, foot switch function 3 set to Stomp 3, so it's not tuner or tap. That allows us to get those three controls on the front of the Stomp. And then Stomp 4 we want as set to Stomp 4, so Stomp 4 function 4, and then the same for 5. And that's going to allow us access to these extra two foot switches. So if we go back to Command Center and then select, I think this is 4 here. Now I always get these back to front. I can't remember which way around these are. I got it right on the preset earlier on, but yeah, I'll probably get it wrong now. So I'll select hotkey again, and then I'm going to go back to YouTube. And then we want rewind 10 seconds is J. That's J, yeah. So I'm just going to go and select J here. There's no lights or colors on this, so I don't need to set that. And then I'm going to set that to, yeah, it's already there, rewind 100 seconds. No, we want 10 seconds. And then I'll just do the forward as well while I'm here. So hotkey. And what was forward? L. Again, no color, customize the text, forward 10 seconds, enter, save, and then we should be able to then through here go forwards. Oh, I got it the right way around. So that's taking me forwards through the video, and this is taking me backwards. Oh, one other thing to note, all of these hotkeys need to be set to momentary, otherwise it'll just keep like pressing through it. It'll just keep fast forwarding or keep speeding up. Yeah, so each of these here needs to be set to momentary. That's important. Yeah, and then we've basically rebuilt the YouTube control preset. I'll just title that Tube Control Lesson. So annoyingly, the video that I needed to transcribe was from a short they uploaded. So the lick was in a YouTube short, and you can't control the speed of that. So you can still do the play, stop, and I think seek forward and backwards. But yeah, you can't control the speed of a YouTube short. So what I had to do was download the video itself and the audio, and then load it into my favorite program, Anytune, which I use for transcribing most of the time. And there I could then do what I want with it. So I'll show you now what I do with Anytune for a bit more hardcore transcribing. So this is not just kind of slowing down a YouTube video and working out the odd bit. This is what I do on a sort of daily basis for like the hardcore heavy load transcribing. Okay, so we're in Anytune, and it might at first appear a little more intimidating, but the core concept or principle is exactly the same. We're just sending MIDI control or control messages from the HX Stomp into the software. And Anytune is really cool because you can set markers. You've got full control over the granular control over the speed and the pitch. You can enter a transcribe mode, which we're going to look at in a moment, and then move around it all very quickly to work out the next little bit that you're working on. It's really cool. So again, I'll show you the end result and what I do with it, and then I'll build the preset with you and show you how to get the most from it. So I'm going to load another preset here. So this is going to be my BB Transcribe AT, which is Anytune. So my transcribing preset for Anytune. And you can see on the screen here, it's got some different text, different commands. So play, pause is the same. And then we've got P from T point. So what this means is that from wherever my transcribe mark is set in Anytune, I can play from that, and it'll just keep playing that over and over. So if I play now, in fact, this was the actual YouTube short, the audio that I was working on. If I play that and then hit this one, it does nothing because I have to enter transcribe mode in Anytune. So I hit Option T, that you can see on the screen here, it's brought up this little red triangle, and that's what that indicates is the actual transcribe point, the point that I'm working from. So now if I hit this, It still does nothing because it only works whilst it's playing. I do know how to use this, I promise. So if I hit play, and then I hit this P from T point over and over, it's just going to keep going back to that point that I'm trying to work out, which is really useful if you're just listening to something over and over again. It's an easy way. And if I just move this back a little bit, so I'm going to move my T point back and hit play. I can just keep hitting that and it'll keep going back to that same point. And it'll allow me to just really hone in on that one little part that I'm trying to work out. So the other switch is updating the transcribe point. So this is really useful for when you've got that bar or that beat or that couple of notes or whatever, and you want to move on to the next bit. Whilst it's playing, you can hit this button and then it will change and move this red triangle to set that as the new transcribe point. So if I hit play, you can see the transcribe point move and update. Now if I get the orange button, the P from T point, it'll go back to it. Update the point, and it'll play back from that new point. So what I'm able to do there is just purely with my feet alone and my hands still on the guitar, stop and start, have it play back with one button push from the same point over and over, and then update that point where it's going to play back from over and over, all with my feet. The other two buttons on the bright onion switch here, what all these do are just going to take me forwards and backwards through the marker points in the Anytune. So I've got all these markers here. I've just set this as to beats or bars, I think, or beats, and then I can just move back through for any of them and then play from them. When you're in transcribe mode, it's in Anytune, it's always going to play back from that. If you want to stop that, I can hit Option T again, and then it will play back from whatever marker it's at. So I'll show you how to set this up in Anytune. I'm not going to build a whole new preset now. I think you already get the idea of how Command Center works and how to figure that out, but I'll just show you roughly what's kind of happening. So in Anytune, you have to go to Settings and then to MIDI and then Enable MIDI in. Set the MIDI channel, so this is 1, and then I can't think what this is on here actually. Let me just see, Global Settings, MIDI. Yeah, I'm on MIDI channel 1 here on the Stomp, so that's congruent. And then basically what I'm doing is in HX Edit, I will just show you this quickly, on this preset now, you can see I'm not sending hotkeys anymore because it's not a keyboard command. Anytune is listening for a MIDI CC controller. So I've set the command to, the Stomp foot switch is going to send a MIDI CC, and then set the channel, set the CC number, and then the value. And then you can, again, customize the color and customize the text. Now, Anytune is going to tell me what CC it is and what value. So within this huge list of things that we can do, you can see here we've got play or pause is controller 3. So in HX Edit, on MIDI channel 1, I'm sending this MIDI CC, I've got CC3, and the value here is just going to be 0. And that will allow me to, I think, play back in Anytune. And then I just go through the same process what I did with the YouTube preset really, but I'm now sending MIDI CCs, having the correct CC and value. Where value is important is because actually, I don't think value is too relevant in this preset, but in the practice preset I'm going to show you next, that is relevant. So what else have I got? If I just go through it very quickly for you. So I've got 105 and 104. So this is for the P from T point and the update T point. So play at point and then move point and play. Those ones are for the foot switch 2 and 3. And then on 4 and 5, what I'm doing here is going through the markers. So this is 21, MIDI CC21 and CC20, which is go to previous mark or go to next mark. And these are all going to be useful and relevant when you're transcribing, setting markers, and you've already slowed it down. Notice I can't slow or speed anything up, slow anything down or speed anything up here. I'm already when I'm kind of working in transcribe mentality, I've already kind of set it or slowed it down. I'm not so bothered about slowing it down and speeding it up with my feet there. I'm more concerned about just being able to move through the track, start, stop with my feet. So that's using Anytune for transcribing. And I'm going to show you one more preset here that I use for practicing. And so this is the other side of the coin here. Now, you would probably do all of this with the same preset for YouTube, but I like to create these two different presets for Anytune, where if I'm transcribing, I use one preset. If I'm practicing, I'll use another. So let me show you my practice preset for Anytune. Yeah, so preset 124, this is BB Practice AT, so Practice Anytune. And you can see again, it looks different on the front of the screen as to what the switches are doing. It's probably self-explanatory, but I'll just take you through my thought process here. So from practicing, I still want to be able to start and stop, but I'm more concerned about maybe slowing things down or speeding things up than I am about necessarily moving around the track. What I'll often do when I'm practicing is set a loop point, which I then don't need to control with my feet. But within that loop point, as it's going round and round, I can just slow it down and speed it up with just my feet. And that's what's going on here. So, the colors are not on this one. So we can set that now in real time. So I go to Command Center. And again, I'm sending MIDI CCs. That's what Anytune wants. But it's going to require a little bit of a different setup now. So play, pause is the same. And then the second for foot switch 1. For foot switch 2, I've got it set to automatically just hit 50%. At any point, I just want to hit 50% speed. So that is sending MIDI CC 88 with the value 18. And I worked that out. Anytune does kind of give you a rough idea of what that value should be. If I go to set tempo, and then it's set the tempo. So 0 is slowest, 127 is fastest, and 28 divided by 38 is 100%. So there is some sort of trial and error involved to working that out. I can tell you now it's 18. Will hit you at 50% unless you've got a crazy maths brain. And then 38 obviously is full speed. And that's on foot switch 3. And then I also have foot switch 4 and 5 just to sort of take you up in increments and up or down in increments. So foot switch 4 is 90 and 90 is to decrease the tempo. So that's this one, I think. If I do that, yeah, you can see that changing on the screen. It's decreasing, and then this one is increasing. And that's 89. Yeah, 89. And I've set that on foot switch 5. So I'll likely not use this in transcribe mode. There's not really much need. So I can just hit play. Get right immediately down to 50%. Back to 100%. And then slow down in increments. So I hope you found that useful and interesting, and it helps you get the most out of your practice and transcribing time when you're kicking around YouTube videos for licks or working things out for whatever purpose. I find it really, really helpful for when I'm learning tunes for bands, or when I'm transcribing myself or other people and learning vocabulary. Just having the option to use your other limbs whilst you've got the guitar in your hands is a big time life hack, I think. As I say, the presets themselves will be available for download in the description, but of course you could just follow along with this and build them yourself, and also apply the same principles and concepts to any other foot switch or controller. And anything that's got like a hotkey or a keyboard shortcut thing is really, really cool. But failing that, any app or piece of software that accepts MIDI commands coming in, you should be able to kind of hack something together yourself, set it up with many of the same sort of principles.